Okay, we've been working with rational expressions with subtracting and adding, but now we're going to add a little more to it. We're going to add it as an equation. And so what I mean by that is you're having an equal sign. Before you didn't have an equal sign with something on the other side. You created what was on the other side. So let's look at a few examples. So we're trying to find what x equals. So let's look at example 1. This one's actually pretty easy. You have x over 5 equals 7 over 3. I'm going to show you a different way instead of cross multiplying to find your answer because that'll help you with your other ones. So first thing you need to do is find a common denominator, just like we were doing before. So common denominator, so I look at this one and I go, well, 5 and 3. Now 15 is a common denominator. Whatever I do to the top, I do to the bottom. And so I'm going to multiply this by 5 and the other side by 3. So I'm going to get 3x equals 15, or 3x over 15, and then I get 35 over 15. So now what I do is just ignore the denominator for now. So I go like this. I go 3x equals 35. I divide. 3 goes into that once, and 3 goes into that once with 2 left over, 11 and 2/3. That's how you do it. You just ignore your denominator to find out what x is. So let's try to do this one. So I need a common denominator. I'm going to make this a fraction by putting a 1 under it. And I'm going to go, okay, I have an x, a 1, and a 4. So I know I need a 4 in the mix in all of them, and I need an x in the mix in all of them. So I'm going to multiply this one by 4. I'm going to multiply this one by 4x, because I need 4x on the bottom as my common denominator. And I'm going to multiply this one just by x. So now I'm going to look at my equation. I have 20 over 4x plus 8x over 4x equals x squared over 4x. Ignore your denominator and solve. So I have 20 plus 8x equals x squared. I know there's an x squared, so what I'm going to do is bring over my 8x and my 20x. So I'm going to subtract them. So I get x squared minus 8x minus 20 equals 0. Magic exit. So it's negative 20 and negative 8. And so if we look at 20 and 8, we have 4 and 5. We have 2 and 10. Perfect. And you want the negative 10. So you're going to have x plus 2, x minus 10. So if I were to solve for this, x could equal negative 2, or it could equal positive 10. So I went through my steps. I found my common denominator. Then I ignored the denominator and just solved with the numerators, and it gives me x. Okay, let's look at this one. I have x plus 1, and x. So my common denominator is going to be x parentheses x plus 1. So I need to make this, or this one, look like this. So I'm going to multiply it by x and do that to the top. Same thing here. Do that to the top. And this one needs x plus 1. Now ignore your denominator, just work with the top. I have 5x minus 7x equals, and do your distributive property up here, 12x plus 12. Now I'm going to solve my equation. This is going to be a negative 2x on this side. Then I subtract my 12x to get negative 14x. And then I divide out, I'm going to write it over here so we can see it a little bit better. Divide out my negative 14. So x is going to equal, and I'm just going to reduce this because it can't go into it evenly. And so 2 goes in, or actually, yeah, 2 goes into both of those. So 6 and 7, and it's negative because of that negative 14. So negative 6/7. So remember your steps. Common denominator, ignore denominator, and then solve. All right, we can work on it together. Don't be afraid. We'll work on it together tomorrow. Have a good night.